What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Marketing Teardown with Andrew and Travis. We are your hosts, Andrew,
Travis.
and we're going to build a marketing strategy today in 30 minutes or less. I've got a company pulled up that Travis has never heard of. I'm actually about to send it to him right now in our Zoom chat, and then we're going to tear it down, and fucking get into it. So the company that we're looking at today is a company called Matterport, and they do 3D and virtual reality mapping of primarily real estate and kind of physical spaces. They sell 3D mapping cameras as well as software and a mobile app that you can use to do 3D mapping as well. They're really popular with real estate agents and for both, I think, consumer and commercial spaces, and they have a variety of different hospitality applications as well. So that's the top level. I'm gonna give a little bit about a background, and then we can jump into some specifics. So they recently raised about $56 million. They're on a growth path, strong growth path. They've got about 240 employees listed on LinkedIn. Their website has an Alexa rank of 15,490, and I'm seeing about 5.6 million visits per month on SimilarWeb. And their website is running on a WordPress-based stack. On social, they have about 10,000 followers on LinkedIn, 8,000 followers on Twitter, and 79,000 followers on Facebook. Their tag list of what tools I've been able to find on their website is enormous, and I'm actually just going to pop up the screen share for this. We don't need to go through all of it. They're using Optimizely, Unbound for landing pages, Salesforce, Pardot, Intercom for chat window. They're using Segment, Full Story. They actually have different subdomains that I think are part of the actual application itself. And they have different customer analytics tools on different subdomains. They basically got a very, very robust marketing and sales technology stack on their site, and have the latest and greatest. They have the money to pay for it, and they're definitely using it all. So that's the high level of it all. What I want to dig into is kind of how we go from here and what we're doing in terms of, okay, so they raised $56 million. It's a lot of money. How are we going to spend it? How do we take what they already have and take it to the next level? I'm going to bump 30 minutes on the clock, hit start. Travis, what do you got for me?
Okay, cool. So a lot of these companies, they will kind of try to do this with general like run-of-the-mill stack tools. Something interesting here, like I was looking at this, they're like, okay, the evolution of 3D capture, like they're announcing all of this kind of like proprietary things. They've got trademarks. So you see like Insta360 when you go down to the evolution of 3D camera. If you do a quick patent search, I just dropped it into the Zoom chat right there, just a quick USPTO patent search. Their patent portfolio is massive. It's crazy. It looks like from here, I didn't do any filtering on exact owners of the patent, but I just searched Matterport, and it looks like they have a portfolio of about 26 patents. This is really, really cool for sure. So this kind of adds a new layer of growth to their business, because really what they could do is they have a lot of options here. We could just try to grow our normal business for people that are trying to sell homes, possibly like internationally, or obviously like large scale homes. You could do the B2B route where you're doing commercial real estate. You could sell under franchise umbrellas for real estate, or with this portfolio of patents, they have a really, really big opportunity for licensing. I think those are two completely different growth strategies, because they're essentially two different businesses. One is a lot of legal, a lot of like technical integration where you're working with back end and like some UI, but at a very, very high level. But really that's like a very, very good way to make a lot of money, really, not really quickly, but a little bit longer sales cycle, but make a lot of money, and margins will be way better than shipping out a physical product. I mean, I don't exactly know. Okay, $400 off the flagship Pro 2 camera, the actual physical device that maps the inside of your house. Let's see what this goes for. It looks like a pretty.
Yeah, I think it's pretty expensive from what I saw.
Oh yeah, and they're on a subscription model, and they're $3,000 a month plus cloud plan, which is $99 to $149.
Yeah, the cloud plan upsell is pretty smart. Get some recurring on top of that one-time sale.
Yep.
Man, there's a lot going on here. There's a
Yeah.
lot on this landing page. Although I do like how they optimize the pricing here. Bring up a good point. I love that you pulled the patent database because I did notice something interesting here. Is if you look at a few of these, some words jumped out at me, and that's that there's LiDAR patents in here, which, as we know, is kind of big right now in the self-driving car space. And I'm wondering if this is some potential in that area, and there's possibility to use these patents and their technology in 3D modeling and things that are not just physical real estate mapping, which would be really cool, and different applications of the camera technology. So I'm gonna add that into our high level section. I think that's worth exploring. I'm sure they might have thought about it. They probably have thought about that internally, but that's an interesting one.
Yep. LiDAR, like speaking of patents and licensing, there's been, so today is March 8th, 2019 that we're recording this. 2 days ago, Waymo just announced that they're going to start licensing their LiDAR to non-competing companies, any non-competing taxi companies. So I wonder how that plays in here. But it's just something for them to think about, be like, okay, this is in the news, it's happening a lot. It's something that we could ride the coattails on too.
Yep. And you know what's interesting too is if you want to look at this from the perspective of megatrends, right? We're on the verge of launching 5G, right? Much more data that can be streamed directly to and from devices. I think this is probably one of the things that'll benefit from that. So instead of saying, okay, well, a 3D camera captures a shit ton of data, we had to capture it, put it on the SD card, and then we're going to upload to your computer later. Now you can stream directly from a device like this, or even from a smartphone, and have enough information to make a really robust, say, 4K, 8K rendering of something in real time, which would be insane and probably unlock a lot of value. On top of that, if we're looking in terms of where things are going with the market, if they have the capacity and the hardware expertise to develop devices like this, as that expands, they could be kind of in the backbone of that coming revolution in terms of connected devices.
Yep. Do you want to jump into their website and talk about like conversion and personas a little bit here?
Yes. Let's do it.
So one thing I'm thinking of immediately is like when you're on here, when you hit that buy CTA up top right, it takes you to buy.matterport.com. Completely eliminates navigation. That can be good for some strategies, especially with lower ticket items. The thing is, this is probably a pretty long sales cycle. If you're having someone commit to $149 a month and then $3,000 a month for, $3,000 one-time purchase, especially for a technology that people might not say like, okay, I can immediately see the ROI on this. Like you're having a lot of integration here because you're changing the way that you're selling homes. And so that's something that takes a while to understand. One thing that would be really cool would even be demos to where like you have regional offices and bringing these two people,
like
having them demo, experience it in person. And then even like a customer success team to where they demo you out the first time. It'd kind of be like a part of sales, but they demo you out the first time. They help you integrate it on your website. They have really, really simple iframe. You can literally pretty much drop this into any website. That's a cool idea of the demo, but it's not really going to show you like, okay, is this actually going to help move houses for you?
Yep.
So
And I do
more of a demo.
Yeah, and you bring up a good point, by the way, with that buy call to action going directly into kind of hardware. One of the things that I noticed in some of my research when I was looking into this company is that I think one of the big high-level questions we have to ask ourselves when we're looking at marketing here is, what are we marketing between these different products and how are they going to relate to each other? Because we have this expensive $3,000 3D camera. We have these support for other 360-degree cameras. We have a software platform. There's an SDK here that's for the back end of other applications. And on top of that all, they have these services of local photographers and 3D photographers, which I'm sure they're making money on as well if they're Matterport qualified 3D photographer. They also have a mobile app that they're trying to push to get smartphones to be included in this 3D mapping kind of ecosystem in some way. Obviously lower quality than a $3,000 camera, but still has a place here. So from the start, I see all this stuff and it's really busy, right? Like if you go to that buy call to action you were just talking about, it's asking to buy that $3,000 camera, but that might not be the best way to push people at this point, given all their products.
I just dropped a screenshot in chat. This is a really impressive product. That obviously their technical chops are absolutely bananas. If you have a portfolio of 26 patents and they're all actually in use and technically active. But one thing that really like crushes my soul is when you first get on that page, the renderings are so low quality. And I just dropped a screenshot of what it looks like in app. Those renderings could be way
That's terrible.
better.
And the text is cut off and just, oh my God.
So that kind of hurt me. But one thing that I'd really like to see them do is like self-identification, because there's so many different types of people that are their personas, and they're kind of just trying to like hit people with a ton of information. If I come into this and I know exactly what their company's about, I know who I am as far as who I am as their customer, then I know where and what I'm trying to look for. Like say if I just got out of a trade show and I just was pitched by these people for 10 minutes and got a really cool hands-on experience, then I would know exactly where to go on this website. But as somebody who's like exploring things, like they have, okay, we're on TechCrunch, we're on CNET, we're on Wired, we're on NASDAQ. Like,
right.
If somebody sees that and they're pushing a really hard PR play and they come in here, they're going to get overwhelmed. They're going to be like, okay, this is really cool technology. I don't exactly understand the application or where I fit into this application. And I'd like to see them put forth a little bit more effort as far as saying like, okay, you are this person, you fit into this category.
Yep, exactly. And yeah, they dropped this thing in to experience Matterport in 3D, but I don't know at this point what the application is. Like, right? Is this real estate? Is this, they had a thing on here for engineering. Is this hospitality? Is this hotel, right? Like this showcase is very different depending on who you are. So they have these model homes in here, they have some construction sites, but you have to scroll down, you have to kind of get into it at this point. I think that's the first thing that you should click into, is the one that's most relevant to you.
Yep.
So I'm gonna add a note on here for the website. Better, I think personalization to personas is really what we're getting at here.
Yep.
To our personas. Cool, and pop back to the main website. So if we go back, I'm gonna pull us back to the website. Like we were saying, there's a lot of stuff here. There's a lot of good stuff. It's just very busy, right? They have all these trust factors. They have these big names here. They have all this crazy technology, 1.5 million spaces, 700 million visits. That's really impressive. They're in real estate. They're in travel. They're in engineering and construction. They've been in all these crazy publications. It's looking impressive. I just don't know where to go. Is I think the crux of it. Honestly, what their website kind of feels like, it kind of feels like it was cobbled together as they just added on more and more things, but it wasn't really cohesively from the whole picture. They're like, okay, here's how we want this to look.
One thing when we're talking about like what their social networks origins are, they have 81% of them from Facebook, and I guarantee you that Facebook is just crushing them with the newly rolled out business algorithm. That's probably a lot of Facebook paid. YouTube is second, Pinterest is third. They could really double down on Pinterest and put all 3D video content on Pinterest. Pinterest is still a pretty empty channel. There aren't that many users, which I mean, obviously it is Pinterest, so there are a ton of users, but Pinterest is not in the front of the mind of saying like, okay, we should definitely be doing Pinterest advertising. It's one of those things where people kind of say like, okay, let's test it out. And then if it works, okay, then we'll look at a little bit deeper into it. But that's because people test it out and they don't actually have a real strategy behind it. And it's one of those things where when an agency comes to them, they're like, yeah, we'll do Pinterest advertising. They're like, oh, well, we tried Pinterest. Like these guys could actually totally destroy Pinterest.
Yeah,
this is like
it's so visual.
Thing of all time. It's amazing.
Right, it's so visual. And here's the interesting thing, is that it looks like they're leveraging a lot of their kind of 3D camera photographer network, so to speak. Real estate agents, people like that who go in and scan the places. Like they're not going out in the field, from what I can see here. Maybe they do on commercial, but for most of these projects, it's other people that buy the camera, scan, and they're, a Matterport photographer. All those people should be putting that shit on Pinterest, and they should be doing everything they can to get it on Pinterest. Home buyers, that entire demographic is huge on Pinterest. I mean, how many people have Pinterest boards about, I love this sofa, I love the way this room looks, I love this house, I love this kitchen, whatever, right? That's a huge opportunity.
Just a demo. Okay.
Put in home buyers, especially kind of as a sub point of interest under Pinterest. That's a really good point. I think they could do more on social in general, by the way. Facebook is by far their biggest captured audience and their biggest source of traffic. They could do a lot more on other channels. Why isn't this on Reddit? Why isn't this on, honestly, Facebook should be twice as big, 10 times as big as it is right now. they can invest a lot more in social across the board. So
Yep. Oh God, their Instagram is hurting my feelings
Eric,
pretty bad. So their Instagram is all about their product. It's not actually like the output of their product. They're
ooh.
like dressing up their 3D scanner in a silly Halloween costume. They're celebrating employees, which is cool. But really, you're not going to get a whole lot of like repost from any of these employees that are going to make any sort of dent.
Yep. It's got
The
to be
thing is,
showcasing customer videos, projects. So easy.
this should be 100% walkthrough videos in
Yep.
like this cool 3D VR format. Like it's so cool.
Yeah.
Like this post they have from October 4th, 2018 is so amazing. All you would have to do is go to the biggest, dopest homes and just literally do walkthroughs and like 3D renderings of this entire place.
Yeah.
Like it would be, I would watch those all day, and I'm not in the market for homes, and I'm not even really somebody who would love to buy a massive home. This is just interesting stuff.
Yeah, and I want to pull back. I think a big important point that you just poked at there, and that's really that user-generated content is something they should be putting on all their social. They have a ton of it. I'm sure there's a way that this brings back to the software into their backend. Not dissimilar probably to the company that you work for, Cinebody. I'm sure they can pull all this content and they can put it on their social channels.
Yep. One thing that would be really, really cool, they could do so many different PR moves of like mapping famous places, right? Like imagine if you took this and you went and mapped the catacombs, or just like mapped completely insane places. Be like, hey, here's a 3D VR walkthrough of the catacombs. Like people would shit themselves. They'd be like, holy shit, I'm definitely going to watch this. How is this even possible? Oh, it's through this. Oh, I have enough time to where I'm watching 3D mapped videos of the catacombs. I probably am somewhat far into my professional career and I'm looking to buy a house, something along those lines.
Yeah, and I want to add on to that as well, because that just gave me an idea, which is they could do some cool influencer marketing with that. Like picture this, if you go, I think if you're familiar with Dan Bilzerian, the guy just bought a mansion, go and map his freaking mansion. Dude's trying to put out content, sell his cannabis company, whatever. Go map his mansion, have it be a joint marketing effort, and that could get a ton of pickup. So.
One thing I'm sure they're like extremely focused on, at least from their referral traffic, it looks like a lot of their referral traffic is like real estate associations, places with listings. Airbnb walkthroughs would be really cool if they could get a partnership with that going. You know, just get an easy partnership with Airbnb. I know it sounds like a lot, and it probably is a lot, but if they have patents on this and their product truly is superior to anything else that's being put out on the market, go and do it for free. Have a partnership with stipulations for a year with a partnership thereafter.
Yeah, and I would even say free, or if they could just subsidize or pay local 3D photographers, it would be a really great way to energize their community as well. So they could be funneling business directly into this local kind of community that they've developed in the 3D photography space, which, by the way, they do have a community section on their website under resources. Yeah, community forum. Other Matterport users can ask questions and get feedback and help. Something I'd like to see them build out a little bit more. I think it's kind of in its nascent stages right now. But going back to the Airbnb thing, have the community do it, offer to pay them, get a discount, and then Airbnb can upsell their people. Like, it's possible for everybody to make money in this, on top of it being a really great marketing channel.
Okay, real estate photographers and enterprise. Okay, yeah. I would say one of the main channels would be like, I'm just thinking through keywords for AdWords right now. Commercial real estate photography, and then going after, if you were to do the demo, where you send out for like one new building and you're doing commercial real estate photography, that would be the demo that you would want to give. You wouldn't want to give it to like independent sellers. You would want to say like, okay, Remax just reached out for a demo, and we're going to give them a free demo in hopes that we'll sign an enterprise deal for them, at least regional.
Yeah, and I do want to add on to that. I think Google Shopping for 3D photography equipment would probably be very profitable for them, and they have the coolest, craziest tech on the market, so it makes sense. Yeah, I think you're right with the commercial real estate photography, that with the smaller deals, it's probably going to be a lot harder to get an ROI, and just with that much volume, it's going to be a big drag on support and the team to try to service 10,000, 50,000 different small individual home walkthroughs. That's what the community's for. That's what their local photographers are for. So but on the commercial side, for a bigger deal, it could be wildly profitable if they're paying even $100, $200 a lead and 10% conversion rate, $2,000 for a commercial project. It could be a $2 million deal or whatever.
Yep. Their AdWord game is pretty good. So I just searched commercial real estate photography. Second thing that came up was Matterport.
There we go. Yeah, and I imagine they're piggybacking on a lot of their organic traffic as well. Since 5 million visits a month, they're getting a lot of traffic to their website.
Yeah.
And so honestly, they can probably just do some analysis on what they're organically ranking for, and kind of figure out where they want to advertise on top of that as well, which is insane. So I don't, it's interesting when you start out from here at 5 million visits a month. Where do you go from there in terms of your strategy? That's a lot of people. So I do want to add in, anytime we're talking large volumes of traffic for a website, retargeting is huge. We want to be retargeting the shit out of everybody.
Yep.
We want highly segmented. We want to get specific to buying intent, abandoned cart. We want to do one thing I think that they could do, by the way, going back to one of the first things that we talked about, which is what is the intersection between these different products, is that I imagine there's a lot of upselling they can do between where people engage. And by that, I mean, if somebody comes in, downloads the app, engages in the app, and is really active inside of the app, maybe they map 5 homes, they're a real estate agent. At that point, you're going to want to try to upsell them on the real 3D photography equipment. And I think there's a real strong value to be had there, whereby now you're going from an okay phone scan to something that's really legit, and could really help these people's careers. So I want to see some sort of upsell funnel, if you will. I think that's maybe not the best way to say that, but just a way to kind of push people along to increase that lifetime value over time. And retargeting is a great way to do that.
Yep. Their sales like chat, questions, comments widget. I would definitely move that over to Drift and get their Clearbit Connect integration. So essentially what you can do, they have 5 million visits a month, right? They would have to hire a ton of people to have a chat widget on there all the time, which is probably their reasoning for having something that is just literally, the chat widget is just another form. Their website is filled to the brim with forms. Once they have a visitor, either in a region they're thinking about targeting or passing a certain Alexa rank, a certain number, revenue dollar amount, then the chat widget will pop up and say, hey, is there anything I can help you with today? That might be a Remax. That might be another massive competitor that's on the website that they're trying to analyze. Talking to the people that matter most would be a good strategy for them, just because just throwing up a chat widget is going to just be miserable for them because they're just going to get blown up.
Yeah, and I do want to add on top of that as well, something that I didn't even know this was a thing until recently, but I actually recently just got connected with a company called Swivel, and they do machine learning for chat, basically, or for search algorithms. Like anytime you're going to have a semantic input where somebody puts in some sort of a comment or a message or a search, they layer on top of that so that you can process that and get kind of dynamic responses based on what people input. And at a small scale, it doesn't necessarily make sense, right? If you're only getting 10 people, even 10 people a day, you can have a person answering all of those. But at 5 million visits a month, now this is a problem of scale. Something like machine learning chat would be insane because you could train that machine learning algorithm so quickly, whereby, if it puts in an input that's recognized, say, I would like pricing, and the algorithm recognizes pricing and it says, okay, these are the prices of our products, boom, boom, boom. But if someone says, I want to know, if you're working with any commercial real estate developers in Cincinnati, and it doesn't know what the hell it's talking about, and it says, I'm sorry, I can't answer that. But with a machine learning algorithm, now someone on the back end can go in and say, well, let me tag that with location in Cincinnati, and let me tag that with commercial real estate. Now, the next time someone comes through, it's able to answer that question. This is a perfect opportunity to use machine learning at scale to really streamline that workload on sales and support. And I think this is a good application of something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Completely agree.
I'll add that on top. Let's see. I have a few other notes here. Targeting. That. Let's see if they have an affiliate program. I feel like they do have an affiliate program, but if they don't, that's a big opportunity. Features.
Yeah, it's interesting because they're trying to sell this as something that's like, hey, this is a groundbreaking technology. It's the best in the market, but also kind of not wanting to social proof them too much. Like they're saying like over 1.5 million spaces, over 700 million visits, right? They're saying that like, hey, be the best of this. Like this is this is a groundbreaking technology that everybody should be using, be the first to be using this, but then they're also like kind of sneaking in a little bit of social proof here.
Yeah. It's like be the first to market along with everybody else.
Yeah, right, exactly.
All right. So I want to add in a referral affiliate program. I didn't necessarily see it actually. A lot of the time, something like that won't be necessarily in the top navigation, but it will be in the footer. And I did not see that in the footer. So if they have it, it's not apparent. And if they don't have it, they should get one. Especially for people that are in the industry. If you are a 3D photographer, you probably know other 3D photographers, and you're going to want to try to get them in an affiliate program. I think that's just a given. Kind of honestly, affiliate programs, especially for physical product sales, it's just table stakes at this point. Like you gotta have a program, especially if you have 240 employees. Like somebody can set this up. Let's see. So I've got one more kind of creative marketing idea for you, and this is the last thing I had on my notes. One thing I think would be really cool, crazy idea, would be to do some kind of virtual conference or marketing event, which would be a very nice fit with their technology and could be a good way to showcase what they've built. So by that, I mean, what if they had a mapping of, say, the top floor of the Salesforce tower in San Francisco, including the view of what's going on outside, and they threw a webinar or they threw just like an event of some sort. It doesn't even have to be selling. It could just be like a virtual summit or something like that, and get a bunch of people together, find a way to give them kind of a point of view inside of that virtual system, sort of like a video game even. Put them in that room and say, look, we're going to be hosting a webinar virtually on the top floor of the Salesforce tower on Friday. Do you want to be there?
Right.
That'd be so sick.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, they could do anything along the lines of like interesting places that you want to go, but it's like difficult to be inside of, like mapping of celebrity houses. Like that could literally just be like a content play. The thing is it's a technology. It's not like a use case. It's not a super critically use case specific thing. It's great infinite amount of content with this thing.
Yeah. But it could get the right person interested. And hey, if you get a $1 million deal out of that, it's worth it.
Right.
Cool. Well, that is super cool. We have about 5 minutes left on the clock. That's everything that I had. Is there anything else you want to dig into here?
Let's take a look. Okay, interesting. Resources, documentation, content library. Okay, so this content library down here, it's actually what I would do is in 3D gallery, right? So they have so much interesting content. Chances are you're not going to come back to this website every day and be like, okay, I want to look through these 59 pages of different 3D walkthroughs, right? Maybe if you're a little high, you'll do it. But really, like, what could be cool? Like, okay, they have like and share on top of like this experience the real world 3D, right? Facebook isn't doing a whole lot for them. What they probably should have is a deep link here, or something along the lines of, hey, enter your phone number here and we'll text you a new 3D walkthrough every single day.
Yep.
Because it's pretty much like them owning a distribution channel for their own content.
Info for new 3D walkthroughs. I'm gonna add this to the website section. Users submit content, and that's really just going back to user generated content as well. I do want to also make a note. I think, well, better organization of the website as a whole, but really more specifically of this page. Just a way to click through and kind of see the different 3D models in a way that is tagged or organized. I know they have that drop down that's at the very top. It's like see the different types of spaces, but I mean, we can do a little better than this. And if you scroll down to the bottom, there's just a big grid of 59 freaking pages. Like, what is this? We can do a lot better than that.
That's chaos.
So, of 3D examples, that's super cool. I think that's pretty good.
That's super solid. Dang, these guys are killing.
I know.
7 patents and they've been around since 2012.
I know. All right, so we'll pause for a moment. I know we're trying to be critical here, but damn,
Yeah.
this is a cool company. It's cool products, doing some
Yeah.
cool things. These guys are going places.
This is one of like the only non-bullshit uses of VR that I've seen like work really well. Uh, Mostly because they control like the generation and the consumption end, and they're able
Mhm.
to control the quality of both of those. And I think that's critical for anything you're doing in VR. They're like, everybody thought VR was going to be this like crazy bazillion different application thing, and really like it comes down to like, okay, what is actually creating revenue here, and this is what is actually
Yeah, yeah.
actually that would be that's what I want to see on here. Case studies for increase in revenue. So like a case study on like Remax or one of their distribution partners.
Hmm.
What did they list? They listed it on their homepage, and it was Redfin, Vacasa, vacation rentals made easy. And it would be cool to see like, okay, Vacasa, how many what's the percentage increase in rental output?
Hmm.
Percentage increase in booking for a place that has 3D walkthroughs versus a place that doesn't have a 3D walkthrough.
Yep. So
I'm
they
sure that
have
number is
this.
insane.
So they have some of this. I just clicked
Oh,
through. They have customers and then success stories. They have it, it's just buried, right?
oh, okay, cool.
Customers, success stories, and then they have this big network of logos. And I started clicking on them, and it just does nothing. There's a watch the video. Some of them have this little case study badge.
Yeah, yeah,
Baycasa is one of them, and then you get to see all these numbers. And
yep,
you're totally right, because this is missing. You had to dig to find this. It's buried. This
yeah.
should be more apparent. This should be way more apparent.
I want a scroller like pretty much under like just below the fold. I want a scroller there for sure. Like even above like the all like the social proof from like Wild Nasdaq CNET.
Yep, yep, yep. Um, and I'm also not even sure, there's not a lot of top of funnel stuff here, right?
Yep.
When you start digging in, it's just kind of buy the product, call us, email us,
Yep.
because they're at that point. They have a cool product, they have all the patents, so they get a lot of inbound inquiries. I'm sure just asking about what they're doing. But if you're not at that point, you're not at that point. So let's see some more inbound methodology going on here.
Yeah, I would say overall, Matterport, good job. This is the most impressed I've been with the company so far. As far as like, okay, they have absolutely all of the information that I could possibly want on this website. It needs to be organized a little bit better, but they're doing a very good job.
You know what? You know what? I want one of these cameras. I don't need it. I'm not gonna do anything with it. But
Yeah, I want to go
goddamn,
map
it's
the
cool.
catacombs, maybe.
Yeah, yeah.
That looks straight up like a claymore. Like it looks like a rendering from GoldenEye N64. Like you drop that in the middle of like a snowy tundra, and that thing is going to. Its odd job is toast.
It's gonna map success. It's gonna map victory.
Yep.
All right, man. We're coming out. We're just hit 0 seconds. I should have been alerted. I don't know why that timer didn't go off actually. But
Next week on Marketing Teardown, Google
yeah, Google's little widgets
Operation
will
Teardown.
pop up. That'd be a big one. No, maybe we might have to do that someday. Cool. So I want to dig into next steps then, and kind of what we recommend going forward from this point on. Where do you want to start?
They might already be doing this, but I really, really like the patent portfolio, and I really think they're doing everything they possibly could be doing up until the point of licensing. There's not really any information on licensing on their website outside of just SDK. So really, like they're doing absolutely everything outside of what we have in this document. They're doing a really, really good job, and I'm sure they have a powerful like enterprise sales team. These patents, I think they've demonstrated very good commercial use. I'd be interested to see what their MRR is in yearly sales. But I think they're big enough to where they can start building out that enterprise sales team from even a higher level outside of SDK, and start thinking about like heavier licensing.
Yep. And I want to follow up that with, I think my favorite thing that we've talked about in all of this is just the PR play of mapping cool places. And maybe mapping in collaboration with influencers or other companies. I think that is probably their biggest play at the moment. Because how do you go from 5 million monthly visitors, right? You have to
Yeah.
do something even bigger than that. And this has the potential, I think, to hit that next level of scale.
Yep. Yeah, they're for sure spending money, at least on Facebook. They're dumping cash into Facebook right now.
Influencers, cool. Yeah, and on that note, I actually think my next item that I'd like to see on next steps is more social. It might be spending money, but it's for a company of their size, they should have so much more. And the big thing, actually, I'll roll that back with saying more user-generated content, pushed into social, and I think that's the play to expand their social. Is just get dope ass mapping, put it out on every form of social media, and then just expand and put a lot of dollars and time promoting that content.
Yep. With Cinebody too, like they have so many people that are like licensed users of this, to where they're saying like, hey, hire a licensed user to do a walkthrough. Really, they could be like, okay, to get it, it would literally be a feedback loop where you're saying like, okay, what we want to do is we want to get video into in the hands of all the people that are like licensed resellers of this, and be like, okay, show us how absolutely easy it is, and then you'll have the network of 500 people with one super, super easy ask sending you all that content back, and that could be literally just distributed to the people that are a part of their licensed reseller program.
Yep. I love it. What do you want to do next?
Dude, Pinterest. I know you said social, but I really think like Pinterest targeting is
all right, we'll call it out. Pinterest it is.
It's going to be really, really hard for attribution, and you're not going to, it's all of the problems with Pinterest. It's like the attribution isn't great because it's really, really like a long cycle attribution, but really what you're going to get is you're going to have a lot of people asking and saying like, hey, do you guys have any 3D mapping of this place? And they're like, oh no. They're like, oh, well, I saw this thing on Pinterest. It's really cool, and I really like watching 3D walkthroughs. It's going to be completely difficult to measure, but it will drive at some point more sales for your company through other people saying like, okay, we need this. This is actually a critical selling point for people at a certain dollar amount.
Yep. And you know what it is too? It's not even just to be going back to the company directly, because that'll happen, but also people will go to their real estate agent locally and be like, yeah, I saw this 3D rendering on, do you have this? And then the real estate guy's going to be like, oh, maybe I should figure that out. They're going to Google real estate mapping tools, and then the first thing that's going to pop up is going to be Matterport, and then they're going to buy. Like,
their influencer program they could have is pretty good too. There's this influencer on Instagram called Tom McLaren, and he's always just posting pictures of him in like super badass, like super yachts. He's posting pictures of him in like multi-million dollar mansions, in like the Alps, bunch of cool shit. And I'm like, dang, that looks so cool. I'd love to see the inside of that house. Like, oh, okay, here's like a shaky video of him inside of a house on an Instagram story, or here's an overproduced video. Like, I would love to see like a 3D walkthrough on Instagram. It would be killer for his content, and it would be just a killer way to see like, okay, how are they doing this? Be like, oh, it's through Matterport.
You know, it'd be a cool software thing if they had a way in their software to be able to scan a person and then just drop it into a rendering.
City, dude.
That'd be so sick. And then like for an influencer, they could be like, yeah, we'll just like put a scan of Tom McLaren and drop him in a mansion, and then you're going through and all of a sudden, oh shit, that's Tom McLaren.
You put Tom McLaren in a place that has no doors. How many days starts to death inside of the godforsaken wasteland of The Sims?
Oh shit, dude! You know what else would be really cool? There's so much cool shit you can do here. But if you did like a scavenger hunt in a 3D mapping of like a big ass place, 3D map, scavenger hunt, or like a Where's Waldo or something like that.
Yeah, you would have to do it in a massive old time mansion with a huge library, and you could do a Where's Ralph Waldo Emerson.
There we go. And then you turn around, Tom McLaren is just there with a drink. Here you go. Cool. I like it. See, after the Pinterest play, you know, my next thing after that, by the way, is probably, I think, cleaning up the website. The website organization is for me really big. Like, there's so much going on, and there's a lot of good stuff. They're doing a lot of things really right. It's just so busy, and especially for where they're going. I think looking beyond just real estate, which is I think where they have to go if they want to expand kind of in other verticals. engineering and construction, for example, which it looks like they're kind of branching into that from real estate. They're going to want to be a little better about the organization here. So I want to see that. Let's see. Next after that,
I mean, this kind of stacks on top of that, but identifying buyers' personas as soon as you're on the website.
Yeah, better DM personalization of buyer personas.
Clearbit Connect Drift Chat is the only other thing that would be something that would not take long to integrate and be a pretty big deal on here. I'm sure their inbound is brutal just because they're just sifting forms.
Yeah. They need to do as much negative optimization to qualify as possible. Shout out. For those of you who don't know, I just wrote an article on negative optimization. Go check it out on Ladder's blog, ladder.io. Those guys are some G's over there, some real G's. After that, I think one thing I want to add in, I think it's the last thing, is partnerships, specifically what we talked about with Airbnb. I think that is also a good way to, A, expand their reach in existing markets, but B, break into new markets, because they're big enough and they have enough money and they have enough clout that at this point, if they're trying to break into a new area of 3D mapping, they can go to a big ass company and be like, let's do a partnership. We're going to pay some people to go out and map your shit. And then it's going to be super cool. We'll put all this on social media. It's going to be great. And those companies will talk to them because they're big enough. So I would like to see partnership stuff happening.
And they could brand that ARBNB, and then for the longer terms they could brand it VR space BO.
God damn it!
That's all we have time for today, boys and girls. Next time we'll be pulling more acronyms from startups.
Oh, that's good. That's good. All right, that's good for me. You want to add anything else?
I think that's solid. Good job, guys. Pretty impressive. All right, who's going to stomp the next Marketing Teardown? Current belt champion WWE is Matterport.
Yeah, and we'll see where it comes next. We'll figure it out next week. Real quick, as we wrap this up, you can find me on my website, Andrew Ishimaru. If you Google me, I pop up, or reach out to me on LinkedIn. I do work with some companies doing some marketing for them, helping with strategy and execution through my company, Optimotive. And Travis, you got some pluggables?
Yeah, just find me on LinkedIn, Travis Page. Tell me some jokes, poke me, follow me, subscribe. Don't forget to hit the subscribe link below. Just come talk to me.
Is there a subscribe on LinkedIn? If you're on LinkedIn, just like it. Just give it a like. All right. Till next time. Peace.
Cool, guys.